Change Lives for Good with your host, Greg Kepferle.
The Santee neighborhood in East San Jose is filled with vibrant, hardworking families, mostly Latino and Vietnamese immigrants who have come to America for a better place, a better life, an opportunity to succeed. At the same time, the neighborhood is beset by crime, by violence, by overcrowded housing. It's been challenged in the past by struggling schools. Yet, something is different in that community today because of a new initiative called the Franklin-McKinley Children's Initiative. Hello, I'm Greg Kepferle, CEO of Catholic Charities of Santa Clara County, and I'm your host for Change Lives for Good. Today we're going to talk about the Franklin-McKinley Children's Initiative with two people who are community leaders who are changing lives for good in the neighborhood, Dr. John Porter, Superintendent of Schools of the Franklin-McKinley School District, and Elizabeth Alvarez with the Franklin-McKinley Children's Initiative and Catholic Charities. Welcome, Dr. Porter. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
So as we look at the Franklin-McKinley Children's Initiative, we started that together a number of years ago out of this desperate need in the community to say we wanted to change that trajectory of children who are struggling in poverty and their families who are trying to support them but also are struggling in poverty. So what is the initiative doing to change that trajectory for those children and their families? Elizabeth?
So currently we have a lot of amazing opportunities for families to become more engaged in the schools. We provide parent engagement and trainings for parents to just do things like how to help their child with their homework. We have a program in the summer that's called Kinder Academy for children that are fresh to school, that have no prior experience to any kind of schooling, and they're have these 3 weeks to get prepared for what does it look like to be in a school and be away from mom. During that time, parents are also engaged and learn a lot about what it means to be a parent coming into a brand new school and the responsibilities that entails. We have a lot of programs with youth and intervention programs and after school programming that we have at all of the schools in the district. So I think we have a lot of different programs that facilitate opportunities that children prior to FMCI would not have had.
So these new programs, new opportunities both for children and the parents. So John, how is this changing the schools? What's different in terms of the way the school district is looking at education and how to help the children and the families?
Well, as all three of us know, because we're all in the efforts of transformation, it starts with a belief system and a culture believing that every child and every family can be successful. And even though there's been barriers in this community, it's rich with pride and history, and people are very proud to live in the Santee neighborhood. Unfortunately, there's been some things happening over the last 30, 40 years that have affected our success there. And I think what happened with the initiative 4 years ago is all the partners got together because of a horrific incident one day after school, and where there was an incredible amount of violence, and all the partners got together and said enough's enough. We're going to do something for this community, that both from the school level out to the community, and bring all the resources we can to transform not just the schools but the neighborhood. And that's really the birth of the Franklin-McKinley Children's Initiative. And so there's just been some wonderful things happening. Naturally, having Elizabeth as our director has been a major plus. Having Catholic Charities as a major partner. Madison Nguyen, the vice mayor, stepped up to the plate for the city of San Jose. The Packard Foundation, as you know, gave us seed money and ongoing support. And there's just so many things wonderful happening. Now the issue is to align all those initiatives and the programs to make sure we're keeping our eye on the ball on student success and family success.
Right, so that whole focus on alignment. And as we developed the Franklin-McKinley Children's Initiative, it came out of the vision of the Harlem Children's Zone, Jeffrey Canada, and when President Obama was a candidate for president, he was asked, what will you do to cut poverty in this country? And he said, well, I want to replicate the Harlem Children's Zone by creating these promised neighborhoods. And so through Step Up Silicon Valley and Catholic Charities and the Franklin-McKinley School District, we all got together and said, okay, let's replicate it in the Santee neighborhood. This is a way to cut poverty, a place-based initiative, starting from cradle to career with the wraparound services. And I think the unique thing is this partnership of all the community groups coming together. It's not one institution. It's not just the school district or not just a nonprofit. It's the schools, the nonprofits, the city government, county government, and the foundations all coming together with the leadership of the community. And I always remember what the moms said when we asked them what they needed. Because it was the moms in the community that were saying, we're really struggling. And they said, we want three things. We want our kids to feel safe walking to and from school. We want our kids to get a quality education. And we need to learn English and get jobs. And that's what we're doing. So how is that? So you talked about some of the programs happening, but it seems like there's also some accomplishments, some victories because of that that maybe you can talk about.
So over the last few years, we've had on many different levels, right? So you refer to the English class. We've had an ongoing relationship not only with Women's Initiative about 3 years ago, and ongoing with the business department over at San Luis State through Com University. So supporting women that have gone through the entrepreneurship program and being able to build their capacity of what does it look like to have a business, what are the responsibilities that are around that they need to be aware of. And through this relationship now with San Luis State, supporting those ladies to understand, the use of marketing material, how to move forward their business plan. So those pieces around economic development have really been successful. I mean, it's changing lives and families in so many levels. I think another area that we are really strong in is the advocacy piece, right? So one of the things that we promote is making sure families and moms and dads, grandparents are aware of their own responsibility, right? They have a responsibility, of course, to take care of their families, but also to be able to advocate and to request and figure out ways to support their children in school, at home, and in the community.
So finding ways to help educate the community that they have a voice and they can use that voice to improve their community, and they're doing that, right? I mean, with the city and with the school district and with the schools. And the other thing that's really exciting to me is how you initiated Bridge to Kinder that now other districts are starting to replicate. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that, John.
Sure. Well, one of the things we were inspired when we went, as you remember, we went to the Harlem Children's Zone National Conference 4 years ago with the help of Packard. One of the things that we were just thrilled with is their baby college and their early childhood initiative that went with these tremendous, powerful preschools. So we didn't have all the resources then to do that, but what we did do is take a simple model that actually started in LA Unified called Bridge to Kindergarten, or Kindergarten Academy. We took all the students that were not in Head Start that were going into Santee and put them in a 3-week program with training with their parents to be advocates for their child, what they can do at home. And we did it for 3 weeks, but the unique part of the model is the same teachers that are going to teach them in kindergarten were their teachers. So in those 3 weeks, they learned how the crying stopped, the listening got developed. The kids understood how a classroom felt and operated. Their parents got training. And these kids came in the first day of kindergarten ready to learn. So even with a small dosage of that kind of intervention, we've seen tremendous results. And now about half of our schools have some version of that. other districts are copying that and bringing that model into it. And that's just the beginning of a number of other unique designs that we were able to do in the Children's Initiative.
So as we look at that, I mean, the pipeline from cradle to career, it seems like we're getting really good at that early childhood piece. I mean, we've got the help of First Five, the Kinder Academy, Bridge to Kinder, all of those elements, and I know there's something new on the horizon that you'll be telling us a little bit later that's really exciting. But how do we keep that momentum going? The research, in the early days about Perry Preschool said, early childhood development, great success, but the later research is saying maybe by third grade or so, if you start seeing some of those effects diminish. Thoughts on that?
So what we've created, and I think it's important for the listeners the viewers to understand, is one of the lessons we learned from Harlem Children's Initiative, which, as we found out, actually failed the first 10 years of operation. They did not have the results. It wasn't until they became place-based and dealt with a zone and all the families and schools in that zone that they became successful. And that's what we've done with the Children's Initiative. There's Santee Elementary School, and around it now there's several other schools, including charter schools, and a middle school and a high school. And they're all part of the Children's Initiative zone schools. So instead of worrying about the whole world, all of San Jose or all of Franklin-McKinley, we've taken all the resources that we've normally done and just highly condensed them into that area. And so with that, we were able to create this staircase or pipeline of services. Now, it's been piecemeal up to this point, but now it's starting to come together, where you have a 0 through the end of high school pipeline for educational reform, and at the same time we're wrapping around services for the community, such as strong and safe neighborhoods, adult empowerment through job training and other abilities for families to help families. What I see as the big thing that's happening is each of us now know what each other is doing. And through Elizabeth's leadership and Catholic Charities leadership, we were able to, you guys have been such a wonderful intermediary to bring all the players together that so we were driving past each other in the past. Now we're sitting at the same table together with decision makers. So if something goes wrong, and things do go wrong, we've still had some acts of violence that we've had to deal with, but the difference now is the response. And all the partners know how to come together to deal with the issues that we're facing. So I would say that it has really turned into a whole new culture of practice and a new behavioral way organizations relate to each other.
Yeah, I'd like to add that, one of the amazing opportunities that we have by working together in collaboration is really aligning the resources in the best possible way. A perfect example is this summer we have a Catholic Charities program that we're going to have over the summer in Santee, and we're working very closely San Jose Jazz, and we're going to be working with some of the same students, and but basically holding program at the same time so that we can support each other and also provide each other with the technical assistance that's needed. And that doesn't usually happen where two different organizations are working together so closely to serve the same students in the same population. So looking forward to an amazing summer this summer, because we're being really strategic about literacy and music and fun over the summertime.
Yeah, no, that's great. So one of the concepts we've talked about too are the community school model, where we're really trying to bring the connection of community resources with the schools. How is that being received at the school level? Is there openness to that? Are there challenges that you're seeing with that?
Well, anything new is a challenge. I think we have this wonderful grant, School Link Services and Preventive Mental Health, that Elizabeth and her colleagues help coordinate. So now the difference now that we've never had before is our teachers and principals see kids that are hurting, see issues in the classroom that are beyond their control to handle. In the past, principals and teachers still felt responsible on their own to try to find help. Now it's one person. Now it's one partner that we can go to for all those kind of services to families, so the teachers can concentrate on the academic needs of the student. Well, not realizing that they care what happens, but educators don't have that kind of expertise in some of the issues, emotional issues, family issues, issues with crime, those type of things that our families are struggling with. So now we have partners that we can link those families to, so we can keep our eye on the ball on student achievement. Yeah. And I see that as the big win, and that's why the school, the difference between our model and the Harlem Children's Zone and other initiatives like this, is the school is the hub, and from that hub other services come in. Some of the other models, which are very successful, go the opposite way. They start from the community or neighborhoods back into the school. We're going from the school out
to the neighborhood. That's
yeah.
terrific.
Yeah.
So we will come back to this conversation in a minute. With me is Dr. John Porter, Superintendent of the Franklin-McKinley School District, and Elizabeth Alvarez with the Franklin-McKinley Children's Initiative and Catholic Charities. And we'll be back with Change Lives for Good.
The Franklin-McKinley Children's Initiative is using the collective energy of partner agencies to work in the Santee neighborhood, an under-resourced community on the east side of San Jose, California. While rich in diversity and community leadership, the community and its schools face many obstacles. Recognizing these challenges, a group of residents, service providers, local government, and community partners came together with the generous support of the Packard Foundation to form the Franklin-McKinley Children's Initiative. The vision of the Franklin-McKinley Children's Initiative is a simple one. The initiative wants to have every child it serves graduate high school prepared for college and a career. The mission is clear: build a sustainable community partnership that supports children from cradle to career through community schools, safe and strong neighborhoods, and economic development. The Franklin-McKinley Children's Initiative partners break down the silos of working in isolation to build a culture of collaboration and participation, delivering a kinder through third grade comprehensive literacy-focused program to support children reading at grade level by the third grade, including a Bridge to Kinder program which serves children with no previous early education experience, after-school support, one-on-one tutoring, and mentoring. The initiative collaborates with partners to bring comprehensive summer school programming to multiple sites in the Franklin-McKinley Children's Initiative service area. Additionally, they implement alignment of parent engagement strategies to support early education with internal and external partners in all 5 Franklin-McKinley Children's Initiative schools, including coordination of the wraparound service referral process within the district. Also, the Franklin-McKinley Children's Initiative began meet and greets with new police officers, community-based organizations, schools, and community members. Further, the initiative has created venues for ongoing dialogue amongst these agencies. Most importantly, the Franklin-McKinley Children's Initiative promotes the culture of civic participation, where community members lead youth programs including pop-up parks, summer enrichment activities, Boy Scouts, folklorico dance, senior exercise classes, and San Francisco Junior Giants, just to mention a few.
Catholic Charities works to end poverty by helping families and individuals get the tools they need to become more self-reliant. It offers a hand up rather than a handout through a wide range of services and serves more than 41,000 people each year of all cultures and beliefs.
Hello and welcome back to Change Lives for Good. I'm your host, Greg Kepferle, CEO of Catholic Charities of Santa Clara County. And with me are Dr. John Porter, Superintendent of Schools for the Franklin-McKinley School District, and Elizabeth Alvarez, who runs the Franklin-McKinley Children's Initiative for Catholic Charities and the School District in the Santee neighborhood. We've been talking about the struggles the neighborhood has faced and also the amazing things that the initiative has done. But this is really hard work. This is tough stuff. And you're dedicating your lives and your energy to this one neighborhood and to these families and children. Why? What is it that's motivating you to be engaged in the Children's Initiative?
I think for me, it's really clear. I come from a neighborhood very similar to that. I've always lived in San Jose, and the two main things are the beautiful children, right? I have my own, and I think of all these beautiful little faces that deserve the most opportunities that many other children have, and it's easy for them. But for some of these kids, it's very, very challenging. So obstacles are great and opportunities are limited, and my job is to create those opportunities. And the other thing for me is that, I don't live that far away from this neighborhood, and I run into moms at the grocery store that live in this neighborhood and recognize me, and I run into them at other places where I go, and I have to do the best that I possibly can for the neighborhood that I serve. So absolutely, yes, it is hard work, but it's very valuable and necessary and very worth it.
Thanks, Elizabeth. John?
That was an interesting question, and I think the journey starts with me about 38 years ago when I started teaching in East LA and at a middle school in a neighborhood very similar to Santee, and just felt overwhelmed with the needs of my students, what I saw happening on that middle school in the neighborhood that everybody just gave up on. And the dropout rate, most of the students that I worked with never finished, a lot of them never went beyond the 10th grade. And I remember making a commitment then as a young teacher that someday I'd be in a position to do something about that. And so that's my journey, and through that has been through different school districts, different experiences back east as well as on the West Coast. And I've really found a home in Franklin-McKinley because I think the culture in our district, the history of partnerships in Franklin-McKinley just has led us to this moment in time, this transition in time, to where these type of partnerships are going to just excel. And that's why we're being visited by so many people, because what we did is took our own resources. We didn't get a lot of new money, as you know.
Yes.
And we had to use our own resources, and each of us put skin in the game to make this happen. And unlike the advantage the Harlem Children's Initiative has is a lot of outside money, private funds. We're basically, each partner is saying, this is what we can do, but we're going to do it better, and we're going to do it more purposely, and we're going to do it aligning our work with your work. And I think that's been so exciting to see at this stage of my career.
Right, that's wonderful. I think of the Santee neighborhood as just this incredibly small but tough and dedicated community. I think of those first meetings that we had with the moms in the neighborhood, and just their passion and concern for their family and their children, and the commitment of the teachers, the commitment of the city of San Jose, the county, First Five, Packard, all of the partners that are absolutely committed to our families thriving. And the neighborhood has been hungry and ready for this change, which is also really exciting. It's this synergy that's happening. People are ready for this transformation. And speaking of this transformation, there's something new coming up in the neighborhood, thanks to the Franklin-McKinley Children's Initiative and your leadership, John, and bringing other new partners together around early childhood development. Maybe you can let us know a little bit of what's going on there.
Well, I was hoping you were going to ask that question. On June 5th of this next month, we will have the groundbreaking ceremony of a brand new complex called Educare, Educare of Silicon Valley of California, which Catholic Charities is a partner with the Packard Foundation, the County Office of Education, Santa Clara County Office of Education, First Five, a number of other partners. Silicon Valley Leadership Group has been wonderful partners. the Buffett Foundation, the Bounce Foundation, just a wonderful 38,000 square foot complex that will have the state-of-the-art early childhood education, parent training, health services, parent engagement, you name it, it's going to be in this building. And it's going to be right next to the Santee School, which will have an interesting 0 to 6th grade pipeline. And it's going to have infants in there all the way through the upper levels of preschool. But it's going to be year-round, 8 hours a day. These students will have the best education, early childhood education in the country. We're joining a network of about over 20 educators across the country that have just had outstanding results, whether it's Oklahoma, Chicago, Denver, wherever they've been located, Arizona, which we visited, and it's just a wonderful model. The uniqueness of our educare, it's the 0 to 5 part of what we saw in the Harlem Children's Zone with the baby college, because in essence the baby college was the kind of the equivalent of educare. And it's just very exciting that all these, that we were chosen, because we were purposely chosen. It wasn't like we applied for anything. They came to us and said, we hear you're doing these things in the neighborhood with the Children's Initiative. You have the demographics we want to work with. And this journey started, as you know, 3 years ago. And now we have raised the money for the building, and the groundbreaking is going to be on June 5th. So we're very excited about that. We're also excited to find out that Santee School has been chosen by the Sobrato Foundation to do a state-of-the-art English language learning development and strategy program called SEAL, which we're very excited about, and that is going to be just a natural progression out of educare into Santee. Then the other new thing is we're opening a brand new charter school, middle school. ACE charter school is going to come in and be on the same campus as our district middle school, which is also a charter school, which is Bridges Academy. So
that is
wonderful
really
new things
exciting.
happening.
Yeah, it's just amazing that the neighborhood and the schools are really thriving, and it looks like there's going to be tremendous growth in the next few years. So to close, what do we need the community's help with? Real quickly, Elizabeth.
I think it's extremely important. We need to take advantage of all the amazing human capital that exists in San Jose, and we need more volunteers. We need more, high school volunteers to come in and support our youth, the university volunteers, and just people sharing their talent.
Wonderful. So you've heard it here. Franklin-McKinley Children's Initiative is thriving in East San Jose. This is Greg Kepferle with Catholic Charities and Change Lives for Good. Remember to speak up, reach out, and change lives for good.